Saturday night on what could be weekend. Yesterday, the 13th. Today is the 14th of May, the anniversary of Israel, and tomorrow is the second Passover. I wonder what kind of an alignment that would make in heaven if we were calculating. I'd bet something that we're going to see something happen. Hi, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read your chats. People are going to be slow to join because I didn't advertise. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this or not. For a little while, it looked like I couldn't. I practiced last night. I found out I have the bandwidth, but I didn't know if I could actually pull it off because we've been having some problems here at the visitor center with power. But it's working for right now, so yes, I hope it is very soon. And that's what we're going to talk about, where we're at. And my Bible read for tonight, we're going to be looking at what the new world is going to look like. And the creator that created this one's going to create the next one, so I'm not terribly concerned. We've got some pictures, but how do you describe something totally unbelievable to people that rode horses because they didn't have any form of technology? We're surrounded by technology. We can describe spaceships landing and what they look like. Back then, they couldn't understand anything. What was the chariot of fire that Elijah went up in? Was it a real chariot? Yes, we're all tired. But the problem is we have to be careful that we don't get complacent and not do what we're supposed to do. Tonight I want to talk about some of the differences between the rapture and the second coming. Christ is coming back twice. Once because we matter, and the second time it's all the other martyrs and other people that are left alive, they matter. I was talking to somebody today. Before we get into this, I'm just going to do some general talking. Chatting with somebody today. I fully believe that we match the before the wrath scenario of a Galilean wedding, with one exception. I don't think the rapture is taking us to a wedding feast. I think it's putting us to work. We're going to be warriors, at least when we come back. Do you know how to fight spiritual beings? I don't. There's going to have to be a 7-year crash course on how to fight spiritual beings. And I jokingly say, well, I want a lightsaber. I'm going to keep my glasses on so I can read. I wonder, anything that we've created has been through development from many religious individuals who have been involved in all this. All of our space technology came from Jews, basically. Einstein was Jewish. Von Braun, Jewish German. How much of it's inspired by God and will we see it up there? I don't know. People who create these wonderful movies that we get to watch, are they inspired by a future? I don't know. But we've got a rapture coming up, hopefully very soon, because many of us are tired of this planet. I have to deal with my personal spirits right now because I've been watching Glenn Beck. And if you're really in a good mood and you can handle it, watch Glenn Beck. But when he tells you what's going on, it can be depressing. So you want to be careful. Don't do it unless you're ready. Well, it says that when Jesus comes back for the second coming, he's coming back with an army of saints. And we're saints. So I don't know if that means us or other saints. But as far as There will be some designated as warriors. We're all kings and priests. I already did a video on this. A king doesn't get to be king unless he can fight a little bit. Now, if you're not capable of it, don't worry about it. You won't have to. But God will teach us, each and every one of us. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and I was just about one in Hapkido, and I quit before I got there. It's good discipline. I had somebody message me today that they saved themselves from an abduction because they knew judo. Self-defense is something that we all should learn. We don't want to go out and pick fights with everybody. You watch some of these kung fu movies, and there's always some bad group coming up and picking fights with the good guys, and they fight and they get beat by the good guys. You don't want to put that in your head. But we do know how to defend ourselves. Hello, everybody. I do hope that the rapture is soon, and we're looking at all the things that are lining up this weekend, so it's possible. As I've talked in the past, the rapture is not the same as the second coming. They're totally different events. I don't think the blood moon tomorrow night is the blood moon that we see that has to do with the second coming. It's not the second coming yet because we haven't had the rapture, we haven't had the tribulation. Most of the things that are talked about Jesus coming back and the earthquakes and the blood moon and all that have to do with his second coming. Not knowing the day or the hour is the second coming. The rapture is talked about, it's definitely talked about, but very little information has been given about it. We're not told to be prepared for it. We're not told to do anything other than to be ready now. We've always been told to be ready. Paul was told to be ready. And my brother in the army, I think I know where we will be. Well, good, and I'm ex-military too, so there's some of us that are prone to it, others are not. If you're not, there's plenty of places where they're going to be needing prayers and everything else going on. There's a lot of administrative work to being God. Every time we see the throne room, he's surrounded by different people and beings and angels. Each one's got a different job. Now, Satan, he's a cherubim. He's one of the most powerful angels out there. Well, he was the most powerful angel. Michael was afraid to fight him. Okay, karate and everything else, yes, in the army too. We've all got an advantage in some areas like that. I don't know how we fight in heaven. Yeah, the blood moon is tonight, but I know that it's a sign. Blood moon always is a sign from God, but whether it's a sign for the rapture, I don't know. We don't know when the rapture is. We just have to be ready. Yeah, we're having fuel problems. We're having food problems. We're having money problems. Everything is overpriced. We have basically nothing on this world left that hasn't been corrupted by Satan. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for Jesus to come and get us. But are we done yet? And that's the final key. We're restraining right now. We're keeping everything from happening. I know that Satan is anxious to take over. God's going to turn the world over to him. He's already, quote, ruler of it because Adam gave it to him. But he wants to be able to come down here and kill everybody that doesn't agree with him. Our illustrious current president said the unvaccinated were the pandemic and should be eliminated from the president. And that's just somebody who's not taking a shot. Basically, you're not following the big leader. You're not following whoever's going to take charge of this new world economy that we're heading for. That's right. Don't come up with any crazy ideas right now. We have enough to deal with. We're going to be with the Lord eventually here soon. Hopefully this weekend, if there's any justice to all the signs that are happening. But I don't know. Like I said, Paul was looking for it. When he wrote to the Thessalonians the first time, he talked about the end times. And some bad writing came in, some people came in. More work to do. There's never going to be an end to the work. That's the problem. So when is the cutoff? The cutoff doesn't have to do with the problem that we're looking at now. It has to do with when Satan is going to do something. The rapture is tied to his actions and the Antichrist, not to God, not to any Jewish holiday. The second coming, absolutely, it's tied to that. And it could be any of the predictors have predicted dates on that. It could be that on the second coming. But that's when we're coming back. And we're only going to be away a few years. There's debate on how much is going on with the tribulation. Absolutely. Always going to be victors because we know God is. We've read the end of the Bible, which is why I can't understand why Satan hasn't just given up. He's read the end of the Bible too. He knows it as well as we do. He can probably quote the Bible better than most of us. Yep. Yeah, the mark has to be very close. The monetary system has to collapse. I can tell you what the scenario is going to be. They're going to spend until they collapse the dollar. And they're giving our dollar away to every country in the world. They're loading them up, good and bad. It doesn't matter who they are. They're giving trillions away. Glenn Beck came out with some numbers that, instead of the 3 trillion a year, it's 100 or more trillion a year they're giving away. Why? So when they collapse the dollar, all the other countries will collapse with it. Yeah, India's keeping food supplies back. They've also had their oil cut off from Russia because they're not cooperating. Well, cryptocurrency is not going to work well until the government takes it over, and there's no other choice. So they're going to crash the dollar, and they're going to come out and say, okay, look, it's all messed up. We can't use our currency. We're going to send everybody a $4,000 account of cryptocurrency. Use it however you feel like. That's how they're going to get everybody to buy in. They're going to give it to you, and there's not going to be any strings attached. It's not take this mark or you don't get it. We're going to get brought into it before all that. We're going to be on cryptocurrency before Satan uses it. It's all, it's easy to see what their plan is. They've been very open about their plan lately. That's the scary part about how close we are. They're not even attempting to hide it. Everything that they want to do, they're not attempting to hide it anymore. They're not worried about who's going to be the next president. They're not worried about whether they lose Congress and the Senate because all the foundation is in place. Listening to part of Glenn Beck it's the one that just released today. If you want to go back and find it later on, they were talking about if Trump or someone like him were to get into office, the first thing they would have to do is to fire everybody. Fire the top military, fire the FBI, fire the CIA, fire the school boards, fire everybody down to the ground roots, because that's how deep state it is. Trump said he was even surprised how deep state it was. He brought the term up, but he was just scratching the surface. We see these Avenger movies and we talk about Hydra. You cut off the snake's head and there's another snake head's going to pop up. That's what's going on out there. Stone. Yep. Rejecting the headstone. That was Jesus. Oh, and speaking of that, I was watching, got people coming up here, it looks like, to get their paperwork, so we'll keep the amens to a minimum as we celebrate here. Thank you, Sandra. I'm going to take a quick second break here. If you're, they're already closed, but if you're looking for your paperwork, it should be hanging up if there's any there.
So, can we just park here somewhere, or?
Well, you need to have.
Are you managing this?
I'm not. I'm just here doing a video. I'm just a tenant like everybody else here. You have to have a reserve site,
Yeah.
and it's not free parking any place.
Well, yeah,
And you have to have a parking pass. But you can put your money for the parking pass in the drop buckets.
Yeah, what?
Drop buckets. But I don't know where you're going to park because the public area is going to close here in a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, we can get a pass here.
Well, they're closed. They closed at 5, but they won't be open until 8 in the morning.
Oh, you get it at the gate? What time do they open in the morning?
8 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sorry to disturb you.
No problem. Thank you for joining us, Nora. We're glad you're here. And no matter what you're doing, take the time to help somebody in need. Okay, spending a small fortune is to live like a homeless person. Yeah, but have you seen the price of homes lately? I'm waiting for the crash. If we're still here, I'll buy one after the crash. I'm hoping I won't be here. So I don't mind being a homeless person because I don't have to worry about a plane ticket. Bring some coffee. Well, then you must be Jewish. You know, Hebrew. Sorry for the pun. Not done yet, hang on.
The restroom open?
Yes, it is.
Okay. There's something.
There you go. The door's heavy, so push hard. It's not locked. Okay. We mentioned the Cornerstone. They are right now, they found, a number of years ago, they found a quarry that was used to quarry the rocks for the Hebronian temple. Thank you very much. The morning video, because I was getting ready for this, I just went on a long hike and I took you along. There's not a whole lot of teaching about the Bible, more about nature, which is about God, so it's okay. But it's not in this normal format. I just wanted you to see a full hike and what I had to do with. Yes, Jesus saves all of us. He's going to come back for us soon. He's going to rescue us and take us home. We're going to get home eventually, so that's never been the problem. We just don't know when. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
We are told countless times to not be afraid. Because all these things are going to happen. One, nothing surprises God. Even the fact that we have a rapture, we're being snatched away, that doesn't surprise God. It's only going to surprise Satan. Satan's Charlie Brown, and God's going to play Lucy. He's going to come up to try to capture us, and Lucy's going to pull the football away. That's what the rapture is. It's an attempt to protect us. Because we know what Satan would love to do. He's tried many times in the past. So we don't have to worry about it. Now, is it going to happen this weekend? Nobody knows. The rapture is an elusive date. It can happen anytime. The only thing that we can guarantee is it will happen before the wrath of God. We know that. So we're not going to have to go through the bad stuff. If you read Revelation, it is bad. Yeah, we're definitely in the season. But we don't know when. The season, take spring, lasts for 2 or 3 months. But that's it. It doesn't last the whole year. We're in the season. We just don't know when. And we can talk about it. We can speculate it. We're told to look for it. We are told to look for it. So when someone says we shouldn't be talking about it, no, we're doing what we're told to do. So when is he coming back? Right now, because there's 46 of us online right now, and I didn't advertise this. You guys have just all joined in, and thank you for joining and leaving your chats. I'm keeping my glasses on so I can see them. Yeah, we're all tired, but don't let your guard down. Too much of the world has fallen away, and we don't want to fall away because we get tired of waiting. Paul said he ran the race, and he completed the race. And that's what we have to do. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to show you I went for a 5-mile hike. I need to stay in shape. I don't know how long I can keep this body going before God gives me a new one. We have a new one waiting for us. Now, the dead in Christ will get theirs first, and we're going to get to meet our family members that are gone in the clouds because they'll be waiting for us. I mean, how many people aren't waiting for that? And I'm going to have the chance to get together with my missing family. I have a son that lives out in California because he's a tech entrepreneur. I wish he'd move, but he's ingrained at this point. And my other son, he's down in South America. We're not together anymore. We're not the unit family that we, hear about or read about or watch the old, sitcoms about. Everybody scatters, and that I think is tragic. We lose family. We lose touch. Now, we have communication devices like this that we can do that with, but it's hard. Yes, thank you. Corinthians 3, well, I pretty much know what the topic is about. If you're going to drop in a scripture, go ahead and put in the verse to go with it. We can read it. Not the whole chapter, but just the verse, so that everybody else can follow along. I've got my Bible here, but if I take the time to open that up and read from that every time I see a verse, we will be sidetracked and down rabbit holes you won't believe. Yes, it is. Israel's birth. Now, the UN approved them as a nation the year before, and it took them a year to get all the paperwork together. And the thing is, because of the Holocaust, because of what the Jews suffered, the whole world was open to it. It takes a tragedy to get the whole world united. It took a tragedy of 9/11 to get the United States united. We've got tragedies coming here to try to unite these people. And it's going to be bad. Temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth within you. Yes, we have the Holy Spirit. So we have God with us no matter where we go. You are never alone. No matter what you're doing, you look around to see if anyone's watching when you sneak an extra bite that you're not supposed to. God knows. Well, before Israel turns 81, the thing is that we're looking at, three square your strength, Psalm 90:10. Yes, that's the generation. The thing is we're not 100% sure. We know it's a 7-year time frame for the tribulation. I've got one of my teachers that I follow says that we've already gone through the first half that happened during the time of Jesus. Good arguments. I'm not going to get into that at this point. But we also have the part that says that John from Jesus said that if you didn't cut the days short, nobody would live. He didn't say, if I don't cut the scrolls and the bowls and everything short. He said, if I don't cut the days short, nobody would live. So was it a full 7 years? We don't know. The only key event that we have that we can trigger off of that we know has to happen is the temple. Without the temple, the Antichrist can't defile it. And I firmly believe that the Antichrist is going to be the one that brings the final peace between the Muslims and the Jews to allow them to build the temple. Now, the Temple Institute is ready to go. They've started cutting stones. They've got all their priests set up, including a high priest. They're not talking about it, but I believe they have the red heifer, which they need to make the anointing oil. So they're ready to go. They could have a temple built, depending on how fancy they want to make it, in a half a year. In 6 months, they could build the temple, at least enough. They've already got a portable altar. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks just like the fiery altar that they had out in front of the tent, with the four rounded parts that stick up on it, kind of like horns. They already have it. It's on wheels. They can roll it to any place they want. If they wouldn't start World War III, they'd roll it up on top of the mount right now and start sacrifices. They've already been practicing with it. They've got all the furnishings for inside the temple. The giant 6-foot menorah. Yeah, if you want to see about it, it's templeinstitute.org, I think it is. They've been collecting money for years. The problem that they're having, and the problem that God has to deal with, and that's what the 144,000 are, most of the Jews that are there for their, quote, safety, which is somewhat ironic since everybody around them wants to kill them. But everybody around the world wants to kill them as well. So by coming there, they're coming there because of their lineage, their DNA. They're not coming there to worship God. Most of them, but plenty of them are. Who's coming in? Somebody leaving. Our main gate is open till 10 o'clock, so I could have cars going by all night. And I don't know how long I can do this. I haven't actually worked very long on this at night. I come down here to upload videos for the next morning, and I don't know how long this is going to let me go. The Wi-Fi may kick me off. So if I just all of a sudden abruptly stop talking, I'm going to finish the video there, and I'll thank you in advance for being here. It's a blessing to see all you here. And what we want to do is I just want to quickly do a prayer to God. And this is our prayer that everybody knows, the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the glory forever. Amen. I've had that prayer with me forever. And there's a prayer similar to it that the Jews use as well. So keep watching. We don't know the time, so we can't prepare for it. All you can do is just be prepared. Make sure you can't see me pointing to my heart. Make sure you are right with God. Because when he comes, we're done. That's it for down here. Our school is over. That's what we're doing down here. This is our school. We're learning how to be Christians. We're learning how to be like God. Jesus says, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So we're going to be like God. And God is pure love. That's all he is. He's not doing anything to harm anybody, which is my reason of believing that Satan is only around because God can't do it. It's just against his nature to harm anybody. You can't love somebody and harm them. Now, we're not talking about discipline. We're talking about harming somebody. Harming somebody does permanent damage. Discipline builds character. So that's why when we, if we're disciplining our children, we're not trying to harm the children. We don't want to beat them up. That would be bad. And it is bad in our society. Amen to that. Okay. If anybody has any prayer requests outside of the ones I've already got, if you can put them in the chat so we can all see. Yeah. It's unfortunately a small number. Now, the 144,000 are going to change that. That's their job. And one of my teachers says that it's our job to get the 144,000 started correctly. So before we get raptured, we got to make sure that we help them. I don't know how, but they're going to be out there. There are organizations called Jews for Jesus. They've been around forever, 30, 40 years that I've seen. There are Messianic priests. Yes. All of our family that have not accepted Jesus yet, please, Lord, help them, encourage them. And if for some reason they don't accept during our time, please stay on them. Don't let them out easy. Stay on them until they accept you. I know you can't force your will on them, no more than you can on anybody. But you can be there you can knock a little louder on the door. How's that? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if anyone opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me. It was a standard custom of the day that if a stranger came to your door, you had to open the door, or you were a rude person. And you had to have them come in and at least give them some bread and water. Yeah, is anybody seeing the blood moon yet? I've got the full moon out here. There's a little bit of clouds in front of it, but not too bad, a haze. But it's not red. Not where I'm at. It's supposed to be this evening. And it'll be closer to when it sets because it has to get the red glow. You've seen the red sunsets. And when the moon gets down to where it's getting that reflection, it's going to be blood red. Yeah, that's right. It is tomorrow night, Sunday evening. But it's very close to being the full moon right now. Yesterday I could see that it wasn't completely round. But this looks, I can't see that it's not full. It looks round. And that's the way it goes. It starts off as the old moon and then the new moon. It switches. When it switches, it will be red. That's interesting. We have actually had people walk on that. Well, the Jewish day starts in the evening and goes till the next evening. So we're in the next day as far as Jerusalem goes, and they're also ahead of us in time. So that's the problem we're trying to deal with here. Are we dealing with, Sunday into Monday, are we dealing with Jewish time or world time? We don't know on any of this. But that does look full. I got a picture of it last night, and it wasn't quite full. But I also don't have any clouds in the sky, except for one little itty bitty one over here, that if it tried to rain, it'd probably strain itself. So we don't have enough clouds for it. I do see a couple of contrails, though. Those don't count. What we're waiting on is a trigger. We're waiting on a trigger from Satan to do something. He's not going to bring the Antichrist forward until we're out of here. We're the restrainer. So we have to just keep watching and hope that we're going to get a glimpse of it. If we're being snatched away, we're being snatched away to safety. We're pulled away from danger. Are we going to be able to see the danger behind us? I don't know. One of these idiots out there decides to push the button, it might be a nuclear awakening for the world. Our government, for some reason, insists on challenging Putin. We keep getting leaks. And you wonder why we keep getting leaks out of the FBI and the State Department. It's because nobody ever goes to jail for it. They're leaking because they can. And the media doesn't challenge them. The rest of government doesn't challenge them, so that's why they're leaking. We're leaking that we're giving money to the Ukrainians to go out and kill Russian generals. Who in their right mind does that? I don't know if we're going to have angels warning people for what we're waiting for, the rapture. But during the time of what's going on, we're going to start seeing signs and wonders from everybody. Satan's going to display them through the Antichrist. So why not give them to Christians too? Remember Moses, he threw his staff down and it turned into a snake. So Pharaoh had his magicians throw their staffs down and they turned into snakes as well. So some of the world tricks that can go on, Satan can do just as well as God's people can on earth. But of course, Moses' snake turned and ate the other two snakes. So God always wins. Yeah, something has got to happen. We don't know what it is, but I fear something is going to happen. That old couple that was here looking to try to come in here, I wish I could have given them some place to park and do something, but there's no freestanding parking any place in this state park. Some places do have them, but a lot of the parks are filling up still. I've had to look around. Oh, I'm going to tell you about where I'm going to go next. Monday. Yeah, fear is always used. It's always part of it. They used it through COVID, and I think we got jaded to it. After a while, fear wears people thin. When I talked about Moses, I talked about the fact that Pharaoh pushed him harder and harder. The more they rejected and didn't want to do it, the harder he pushed them. It just made him tougher. And then Moses finally had to come in and bail him out. Monday, I'm going to a new campsite. This one is Stephen Foster. It's in South Georgia. It's at the opening of the Okefenokee Swamp. Try saying that 10 times. It is known for alligators. It's right on the Georgia-Florida line, basically. And we used to take the scouts down there when I was a scoutmaster. And we would stop counting at 100. We'd keep counting, but we'd stop telling everybody at 100 that we saw that many alligators. They're just all over the place. You don't get out of the boat. We did have one alligator come off the bank and chase us for a little while, but it's only because it was probably a mother and she chased us off. Yeah. I mean, if we were going to be down here, there'd be more moonwalkers, but I don't think what's left of the world's going to be here for them to do that. We have the technology now. They have the new spaceships for it. Well, the WHO has basically been in charge anyway. They've been telling us what to do privately, but they're going to put them in charge of this. There's going to be something else come up from the companies, yeah. They're trying to get to you where it hurts. You notice that? Baby formula. Who in the right mind would cut off baby formula? Did you notice that we've had food processing plants burned to the ground in the United States this last few months? Many of them. Well over 50. You're not going to get food if you can't produce it. Well, the unions could go on strike because they're government controlled. It would not be good. The evil is basically everywhere. You couldn't stop it now without God's help. You couldn't stop the evil that's already ingrained in this country. Not one person. You could get started, you wouldn't live long. But don't worry, Jesus has a plan. This is all part of the plan. The world is going to accept Satan, and we're going to watch him go, okay, take care of us. And he's going to say, yeah, take this mark and I'll take care of you. They're not going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy when they find out what they've chosen because they refused to accept Christ. The Jews will eventually acknowledge Christ and look to him and worship him. Yeah, we're going to have to learn to go back to making baby formula. Think about the things. Go online before they take it down. Google how to make them if you know of anybody who's a mom that needs it. All the stuff that we have to do to keep alive. I've talked about putting food away. I've talked about prepping a little bit. We don't know how long we're going to wait. We're still here. I'm going to continue to make my videos because I know that there are people that need help, people that need prayers. We can still do something. So as long as we can, do it. I frankly hope that I am helping somebody the minute I go, oh, and then we disappear. I hope that happens. We have our own judgment, if you will, the Bema seat. It's not a you're going to hell judgment like the white throne, but it is a review of how well we've done. Have you ever had to, am I seeing myself reflected in my glasses like that? Where's that light coming from? Blue light, I don't know. It's odd. I think you're seeing the sky. But have you ever had to go up in front of the class and your teacher? Yeah, it is the sky reflecting in my glasses. All right, I'll take these off until you say something. And the teacher reads your grades in front of the class. I'm reading your comments. Yeah, but too many mothers nowadays don't want to be bothered with their kids because they want to go make money. That's why abortion is so common. I can't wait until we can stop that, but I guarantee you somehow they're going to find a way, even though the Supreme Court is going to probably overturn Roe versus Wade, they're going to find a way to nullify the Supreme Court. They've been holding back on the Supreme Court because they knew it would piss everybody off. But it's the last vestige of hope. So when they nullify that, then the Constitution is meaningless. So they're working on it. Men's hearts will be failing them, yes. Yep. Well, the school system already controls the curriculum, so they're never going to get the truth now. It's, like I said, it's a deep state. It goes all the way down. I'm hoping that my conversations tonight don't cause any problems with the filters. But hopefully, well, you guys are hearing this and seeing this, so at least a few of you guys that are following me right now, you're getting my word, even if they take this video down. I don't know. Maybe they don't worry about someone like me because they've already got control. And when the time is right, they come after me too. I don't know if this channel will even stay on the air. Hopefully that's all you're going to see here. You don't see the comments that I get sometimes privately, but most of you, I am very happy that you're on my channel because I get love back, and that's inspiring for me. I need strength too. It's no effort for me to do these videos, which for me is miraculous because I hate repetition. I missed those comments. I was talking. I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. That's why I'm not in theater. I'm going to try to get an hour out of this video. I got about 14 minutes left. It's possible it could go dead at any time, so I don't know. I'm shooting for an hour. I don't think staying up all night will serve anything because it's not an event that we have to be ready for. We don't have to have our oil like the virgins do for the second coming. That's a different thing. Thank you. So really what I want to do with this video is to assure you that we're all fine. We're safe. Yeah, the trumpet will wake us up. I think we're going to be the only ones to hear it. I don't think the world will hear it. Yes, your prayers are definitely needed. But the ease at which I can do this, I want you to understand how I do these videos. I don't sit down and write 10 videos and then go film them. I do these every day without preparation. Well, I start the day with no preparation. I then pull out the Bible, I read, I let God direct me, and then I do these videos. So he's inspiring me every day to do these. I'm not using canned video. I'm not going out and copying sermons. Hello from Mexico. Hola, ¿cómo está? I know a little bit. I used to go down there to Baja, Mexico every year to go diving when I lived out in California. In reality, we're reaching people all around the world just with this channel. Imagine when SpaceX gets their satellite up and running, we'll be able to reach out to the whole world with that. That might be how the whole world knows what's going on. The whole world watches the two witnesses die and lie there on the street for 3 days and then get taken up to heaven. The only way they could do that is if the whole world had internet. Yeah, what's the verse? Young man will see visions and old man will dream dreams. I'm waiting for my dreams, God, you know. There's no doubt that I'm an old man. Hello from Oregon. I was born in Portland many, many years ago. I don't dream normally. So the minute I start dreaming, I am going to know that it's from God. I am left brain. I used to work with computers. Those were logical, and I'm logical. I don't see visions. I don't dream in color. I do dream. I see them occasionally. I wake up and catch the glimpse of one, but they're not in color. Fight broke out, yeah. There was another tragic shooting in a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, today or yesterday. I saw it on the news briefly. Satan is causing fights. He's picking fights with everybody. If he can keep us on edge, yeah, I've done my own web design in the past. This isn't my only YouTube channel that I've had. This is the only one that I run now. So we've got to pick our choices. We don't have a lot of time. Use the knowledge that you have to reach as many people as you can. I've got a technical background, so I try to look at things logically. The hard part about looking at things logically is I can read most of the Bible pretty well. The prophetic stuff comes hard because the visions don't paint visions. Yeah, 3 trumpets? I don't know. I think he's just going to have one with big lungs. Yeah, the King James Version Bible is my favorite Bible to read. However, I use the New King James because they didn't talk in English or King's English in Jerusalem. They either spoke in Aramaic or they spoke Greek. And later on, the church adopted Latin. And Latin, by the way, is where we get a lot of words that people would be surprised that are really Latin. Omni, omnipresent. That's omni is Latin. Rapture is Latin. Harpazo is the Greek word for caught up. Rapturo, which we shortened to rapture. We always Americanize all the words. The reason that I like the King James, it is a word-for-word translation. It's not like the NIV or any of these other ones that try to paraphrase and put it into standard English. You can't do word searches unless you use a word-for-word translation. Fortunately, I learned Hebrew early on. I learned in synagogues when I was, high school age, I guess. They have a study of the Aleph-Bet. You can get an Aleph-Bet primer. But you start on the back of the book and you read to the front. The first 2 letters of the Hebrew language are Aleph and Bet. That's the name. And all their sounds are basically ones that we can say. It's not like Eastern languages. I had to learn some Korean to be able to do my Taekwondo. And I asked the guy one time, my master, how do you say, I don't speak Korean in Korean? And he went on for a paragraph. And I said, if I could say that, I could speak Korean. And he goes, yes. So I never got that far. I didn't get to see that. What was that? You can add subtitles in Spanish. I don't know how to do that, but I'll have to look it up. I've only been running this channel about 2 years, so I'm not familiar with how to do all this stuff. Most of my channels were fun ones that I did with my friends, and I never got to the point where I got privileges to do things like that. So I'll look into it. I know that you can. There are subtitles coming across. I don't know if you can switch them. I know that YouTube does English subtitles. If I tell it it's okay to do it. I don't know if you can switch them on the fly. It's hard to know about dreams. Dreams have different meanings. If you look at the dreams that Joseph had to interpret, it's hard. It would be hard for us to know exactly where they were going. And can you imagine a prophet being so good that the guy says, you're going to tell me my dream, word for word, and then you're going to explain to me what it means? You've got to be a good prophet to do that. wish I could show you the moon. My camera does not do a good job. It's got a haze around it because the cloud covering. It's a light cloud covering. It's got a nice big glow around it. And that becomes red. It's really going to be beautiful. Well, folks, we're coming up on my hour, and I'm afraid that we're probably going to have to cut it at that point. And I don't want to get caught in the middle of something, so I want to try to get my closing statements out of the way. Yeah, I mean, knowing Hebrew would be real helpful in understanding. Hebrew is a lot like Spanish in the sense that it's basically three-letter words put together. And there's a plural, a singular, a male, and a female version of the word. So when you're looking at a word, you got to know, the full meaning before you try to do the translation. I always say the first sentence in the Bible, in Genesis, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim vayet haaretz. And I can't roll my R's, so I can't do that part of it. I can't do it in Spanish either. I'm tongue-tied. But Elohim, the word for God, El is the word for God. So you put Elohim in there, it's plural. So God, right in the very first sentence of the Bible, is plural. And bara is a female version created. So there's all kinds of tricks in learning that we can do just by knowing the words. There are psalms where each numbered psalm starts with the next letter of the alphabet. There are actual jokes in psalms and proverbs that you have to understand the language to understand what they're saying. No, I don't mean like the joke about three Jews go into a bar. I mean, they're jokes about, livestock and other things like that and people and things like that. They're all good, clean jokes. Otherwise, I'd have to go do a sacrifice for them if they weren't. The moon is starting to slowly go behind another cloud, so I have a very short window, so I'm probably going to go ahead. And I'm 58 minutes into this. I want to thank you all for joining me on this tonight. This was a lot of fun. Yes, there's an Aramaic Bible. They all spoke Hebrew until the Babylonian exile. And when they got over there, they spoke Aramaic. They were there for 70 years. They had to learn the language. And not everybody came back. Only a remnant came back when they were told they could leave and go back and rebuild their temple. So Aramaic became the cleaner version of Hebrew. It's a block letter version of the pictograms that they used in ancient Hebrew. The Aleph with the wavy sticks that stick up, they're horns of an ox. And Bet, it's a house. It's a block with a little roof that sticks out. They were all symbols before they actually had a language that they could put words to. Yes. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani would be the Greek version. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. Coming up, the final countdown of 45 seconds to the hour. Again, thank you so much. God bless you all for being here. It's a blessing to me to see you here and be part of this. And I'm getting to see your chats because I'm keeping my glasses on. I didn't do that the last time. Yeah, nuclear exercises, as if that's going to do any good. There could be nukes 10 miles off the coast. Watch Hunt for Red October. We wouldn't even know it was coming. But Russia doesn't want to fight us. They want to take over the area. They want to control the oil. Controlling the spirit, as you will, of the area. Okay. Hopefully we're going to be meeting in the clouds very shortly. And when we do, be sure to identify yourself as a YouTube subscriber. God bless you all.